General Hospital will reveal from April 21st to 25th, the storylines unfolding at General Hospital will reach an emotional and dramatic climax, as a series of powerful developments promises to shake the very foundations of Port Charles. This upcoming week isn't merely about medical procedures or fleeting moments of tension, it's about life-altering choices, emotional reckonings, and secrets teetering on the edge of exposure. The atmosphere across town grows heavier and more suffocating with each passing hour, as even the strongest of characters find themselves brought to their knees by heartbreak, betrayal, and uncertainty. At the center of this storm stands Willow, a woman haunted by lingering pain and silent regrets. Since choosing to entrust her heart, and her future, to another man, she's been forced to navigate the weight of judgmental stares, internal guilt, and a growing sense of self-doubt. Willow is walking a tightrope suspended above a pit of emotional collapse, and every step she takes could be the one that sends her spiraling into darkness. Her anguish is not loud, but it is relentless, an ache that bleeds into every word she speaks and every choice she tries to make. Beyond Willow's emotional torment, two high-stakes surgeries promise to dominate the week. These aren't just ordinary medical procedures, they are battles between life and death, moments where hope and despair wrestle for dominance. Each surgery carries not only the threat of physical scars but the guarantee of emotional ones, leaving irreversible marks on the lives of everyone involved. What happens in those operating rooms could change everything, for better or worse, and not everyone may walk away the same. As these events unfold, the people of Port Charles will be pushed to confront uncomfortable truths, make impossible decisions, and endure consequences they may never be able to undo. Paths once thought secure will suddenly split into chaos, long-held bonds will be tested to their limits, and trust, once broken, may prove impossible to rebuild. Amid this whirlwind of emotions, three pivotal moments stand out, three storylines that promise to captivate, shock, and redefine the future for multiple characters. These are not just plot points, they are turning points. Every heartbeat, every whispered word, every fateful decision in these moments will ripple across Port Charles, leaving no life untouched. These are the three crucial moments to watch this week as the saga continues to unfold with unrelenting intensity. 1. Sonny will undergo heart surgery, but tragedy may strike since the moment the doctors confirmed his severe heart condition, Sonny fell into a state of internal turmoil unlike anything he had ever experienced. As someone who once ruled the criminal underworld with cold precision, calculated decisions, and invisible power, Sonny always believed he could control everything, even death. But this time, what he was facing wasn't an enemy he could beat with bullets or bribes. It was his own body. A heart that had grown weary after years of stress, betrayal, and bloodshed. And while the doctors insisted that open-heart surgery was absolutely necessary for his survival, Sonny kept postponing it, not just out of fear of physical pain, but because he wasn't sure he'd come off the operating table alive. He knew that someone like him, always surrounded by enemies, couldn't simply place his life in someone else's hands, especially when a single wrong incision or misplaced injection could make him a memory. Death was no longer a possibility, it was a looming presence he could feel with every breath, every sharp pain in his chest. Still, there comes a point when even the strongest resolve breaks. And when that moment came, Sonny had to put everything in order, leave Port Charles, and board a plane to Los Angeles, the city where he would entrust his fate to unfamiliar surgeons in an unfamiliar hospital. A place completely outside his sphere of influence. Sonny wasn't alone. Carly, the woman who had loved him, left him, and returned more times than he could count, was still by his side. She didn't care about past mistakes or whispers behind their backs. To her, Sonny was a man worth protecting, and if she had to walk beside him into the jaws of death, she would do so without hesitation. She was the one who packed his bags, held his hand as they walked into the hospital, and whispered words of comfort into his ear as Sonny trembled before the storm brewing in his soul. No one understood him like Carly, and no one else had the strength to keep him anchored to life. But nothing was ever that simple. Natalia, the woman who had once entered Sonny's life with warmth and tenderness, had now become the source of his greatest danger. She didn't just betray his trust, she gave away the very information that could kill him. She revealed his health status, his surgery schedule, even the location and time. But to whom? And why? Was she planted from the beginning to get close to him? Or did something turn her against him? Whatever the answer, the result remained the same. Sunny was walking into a trap. Sidwell, an old enemy and one of the most cunning, ruthless men Sunny had ever faced, now knew everything. If a man like that finds out Sunny is in a distant city, lying defenseless on an operating table with no bodyguards, no weapons, and no control, what could possibly stop him from striking? A staged medical accident, a wrong dosage, a mistake by a compromised doctor, all of it could be fatal. Sidwell had the means and the network to make it happen without leaving a trace. The sterile, cold operating room, where life and death blur into one, had now become the battlefield for an invisible war. Sunny lay there, no longer a kingpin, no longer a feared figure. He was just a fragile body, a damaged heart moments away from being sliced open, and a drifting soul caught between existence and oblivion. Outside, Carly waited in the hallway, trying to stay composed, but a storm raged inside her, the fear of losing the man she still loved, despite everything. And while the operation proceeded, somewhere in the shadows of Los Angeles, others moved quietly. Perhaps Sidwell's men. Perhaps a hired assassin. Or worse, a doctor already bought and paid for, ready to ensure Sunny never left that table alive. One wrong cut. One extra drop of medication. All easily explained away as medical complications. In this moment, Sunny's fate no longer belonged to him. It rested in the loyalty of those around him, in Carly's vigilance, in the integrity of the surgical team, and in luck, something Sunny had never truly believed in. Will he survive? Or will he become just another whispered name in the underworld, a ghost remembered with both fear and regret? The answer is still being written, one slice of the scalpel, one drop of blood at a time, in a place where life and death are separated by only a single breath. 2. Willow faces appropriate punishment. Ever since Willow's heart began to drift away from Michael, her life took a rapid and profound turn, one so drastic that even those closest to her could no longer recognize the woman she was becoming. The woman who once poured her heart into Michael, stood by him through grief, loss, and separation, now seemed to have completely forgotten everything they had built together. The memories, the promises, the shared dreams that once served as the foundation of their family had been buried. If not erased entirely, to make way for another man, Drew. Drew wasn't just a passing figure. He entered Willow's life at the precise moment when she was at her most vulnerable, emotionally hollow, unsteady, and desperate for something, or someone, to hold on to. And Drew delivered exactly that. He didn't win her over with grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but with consistency, with a calm confidence that gave her the illusion of safety. To Willow, he became the embodiment of a future free from emotional chaos and lingering trauma. That Drew vision she clung to began to color everything she saw. And so, step by step, she let Drew in deeper. Not with impulsive moves, but with decisive actions she believed were in the best interest of herself and her children. He persuaded her to leave the home she had shared with Michael, to uproot the kids and start fresh in a new, meticulously curated house, one Drew had full control over. At first, it felt like progress, a clean slate. But the shift wasn't just about a new address. When Willow signed the legal papers officially naming Drew as the children's legal guardian in the event something happened to her, it was a definitive break from Michael's role in their lives. That signature was more than ink on paper, it was a declaration of trust, of permanence, and of moving forward into a future where Michael no longer existed. But trust, when placed in the wrong hands, can become the root of tragedy. And this week, the reality Willow has tried so hard to ignore might come crashing down. On Tuesday, the sudden reappearance of Jason, Drew's twin brother, may be the first jolt that cracks the emotional wall Willow has built around herself. Jason is not just Drew's physical mirror, he represents everything Drew is not: unwavering loyalty, deep moral conviction, and a fierce sense of family. Even a small gesture from Jason, a glance, a kind word, an offer of help, could be enough to shake Willow's composure. She may begin to compare them, subtly at first, then increasingly. Between Jason and Drew. Between her old life with Michael and the one she's been trying to convince herself is better. Questions she thought she buried could rise once more. Is this truly what she wants? Did she move too fast? Was Drew ever really the right choice, or just the most convenient one when her heart was too broken to see clearly? Jason's presence might serve as a mirror, reflecting not only Willow's changed circumstances but also the cracks she's been ignoring. Regret may begin to take root, especially regarding the legal guardianship she granted Drew. The thought of what Jason would do in Drew's place, how he would protect and prioritize her children, could become an unbearable contrast. And if Drew shows any signs this week of being controlling, selfish, or emotionally distant, that contrast might become too stark for Willow to ignore. By the end of the week, Willow's emotional defenses could start to collapse. She may find herself standing at a painful crossroads, torn between the man she's tried to make her future, and the truths about herself, her children, and her past that she can no longer deny. The question now isn't simply whether she made the right decision, it's whether there's still time to undo it. Regardless of how things unfold, one truth remains: Willow's emotional journey is far from over. The decisions she made with Drew may have once felt empowering and secure, but they may soon reveal themselves to be rooted in fear, avoidance, and unhealed grief. And when the fog finally lifts, Willow may realize that in her effort to protect her children from chaos, she may have led them into an even more uncertain path. Perhaps the most painful realization of all will be this: Michael may have never been the problem. The true danger may have always come from within. Born of her own insecurities and the unresolved wounds she never truly faced. Now, Willow must decide: will she gather the strength to step back, reevaluate, and fight for what's truly best for her family? Or will she remain silent, trapped by fear, shame, and the belief that it's already too late? Whatever she chooses, this week may mark the most pivotal turning point of her life, not just as a mother, but as a woman struggling to rediscover herself. 3. Kai received bitter things after the surgery this week. Viewers will witness a pivotal turning point in Kai's, Jens Austin Astrup, journey as he finds himself standing at the edge of one of the most critical and morally complex decisions of his life. After a period of silence and contemplation, Kai finally steps forward to provide an important update regarding Drew's condition, a man preparing to undergo a high-risk surgery that could determine not only his future in politics but possibly his very survival. However, what makes this situation all the more intense is that Drew hasn't come to Kai simply as a patient. He has approached him as someone who can help him get back in the game, return to the public eye with full force, power, and control. Drew's proposal is not just an opportunity, it's a door to power, prestige, and influence, but one that comes at a potentially devastating cost. Kai, a talented yet reserved doctor known for his ethics and discretion, has suddenly been pulled into the heart of a political chess game. Accepting this offer is not merely a matter of performing a surgery, it's about choosing a side in a silent but fierce war of influence playing out both inside General Hospital and across Port Charles. Trina, Tabiana Ali, Curtis, Donnell Turner, and Portia, Brooke Kerr, have each expressed their deep concerns to Kai. Their warnings are not only about the potential damage to his medical career but also about the risk of losing himself, his values, his independence. By stepping into Drew's orbit. Trina, sharp and grounded in her principles, advised Kai that not every outstretched hand offers genuine opportunity, and not every proposal comes from someone with noble intentions. Yet despite all the red flags and sincere concerns from those closest to him, Kai seems to be leaning toward accepting Drew's offer. Perhaps he's drawn by the promise of recognition, the allure of a bigger platform, or a deep, unspoken desire to matter on a grander scale. Perhaps he's simply tired of standing on the sidelines, craving the power to make real change, or maybe, just maybe, Drew has manipulated the situation so subtly that Kai doesn't even realize he's being played. The danger, of course, lies in both paths. If Kai agrees, he risks becoming a pawn in Drew's grand strategy, a figure used to advance an agenda far beyond medicine. If he refuses, there could be repercussions. Drew is not the kind of man who takes no lightly. A rejection, even if justified, could provoke subtle retaliation from a man used to having others follow his lead without question. The pressure is mounting. Each day that passes, Kai feels himself tightening in the grip of an invisible vice, where every decision is laced with consequences. He may lie awake at night, haunted by questions of principle versus ambition, ethics versus opportunity, loyalty versus survival. Perhaps the most terrifying part of it all isn't choosing between yes or no, but facing the inevitable aftermath. Because no matter what Kai chooses, the price will be steep. If he accepts, he may achieve a dazzling short-term success, but at the cost of compromising his integrity. If he declines, he may find himself isolated, targeted, or even undermined by a political force that doesn't tolerate disobedience. This week, all those unanswered questions will slowly begin to unfold. Viewers will hang on every glance, every hesitation, and every word Kai utters, knowing that this is not just a negotiation, it's a moment that could define his fate. And not just his own, but the entire dynamic between medicine and politics in Port Charles. One thing is certain, regardless of the path he chooses, Kai may not escape regret. In a game where every move has a price, there is no absolute right or wrong, only the haunting question of who will pay that price first.